Okay, guys, welcome to 2023 business planning. Who here has actually not done business planning before? No? Have you guys all done business planning? No? Okay. Who has done business planning? Okay. How often do you guys stick to the plan? Chad, you stick to your plan? Mola's kind of like, zero. So no one usually, and that is one of the problems. If I'm very honest, we do business planning every year. We'll sit down, we'll come up with a clear plan, and then all of a sudden you get some clients and the plan's like, it's like gone. But I still like to do it because I still think it's good to put yourself in the mindset of at least goal setting and coming up with like a visual plan of what you guys see the business going through. But we're also in a slower market. So like the last couple of years has been insane to the point where you literally couldn't even sit still and like sit down with your business plan and do those things that you wanted to do. But I think this coming market is going to be slower. So it's going to be slow. Especially right now, we're slow. We're headed to Christmas. 2023 is going to be slower. So now we're going to get back to the basics of business. And now you can actually hopefully be able to stick to a more precise plan because you shouldn't be running around with your head cut off. Okay. So buyers for the last couple of years have been probably haunting you, being like, what'd this house sell for? You were doing CMAs probably every single day for random people, friends, family were randomly messaging you, talking about selling their house. Like that's just been what we've experienced since 2020, I guess, since COVID. But now we're in a slower market. So this market reminds me of 2017 for myself. That was we went from this crazy, insane market and then it chilled out. Like it just changed very quickly. And I think that's what we're experiencing a little bit now. So now, hopefully you guys can actually come up with some sort of plan for what you want to do. And I think it's important. You guys are all business owners. I know a lot of us don't think of ourselves as business owners, but you are business owners. So we have to kind of treat this like a business. Everyone's business plan is going to be completely different. We're all very different. And that's okay. I've given you guys some booklets. And if you guys are watching online, Facebook or Zoom, you guys will get an email around 12 o'clock. So keep an eye out for a Broker Bay announcement to your email, because I'm going to email you 3 different templates as well. So if you're not tuned in with us live and you have a physical business plan, you guys are going to have an email come to you guys. I believe it's around 12. So keep an eye out for that so you guys can participate as well. But today I'm going to do a little bit of a presentation on goal setting. Has anyone not done goal setting in general? Like I know there's a lot of different jobs you guys have had, and they probably didn't sit you down and say, what are your goals? And you were like an admin assistant or something like that. You probably didn't sit down and do business plans. Or if you had like a retail job, you worked at a bar, I don't know. Did you do business planning at the bar, Erin? No. So some of us, it is our first time doing goal setting. If it's not part of your internal. So hopefully we can teach you a few things. So I'm going to do a presentation on what goals look like. And then this is going to be a very hands-on thing. We're actually going to sit down. It might be quiet. I could put some music on. We can really get into the mood, and everyone's going to just sit and fill out your little booklets and all of that. And we'll talk about the different books. If this is not for your brain, I've got a more simple brain one, a creative brain one. This is a creative brain. And then I have a very analytical brain. So if you guys are very analytical, I see some heads shaking because I don't think a lot of us are. But if this is not your style, I do have another one, which I think is the Tom Ferry business plan. It's very number based. So I'll give that to you guys if you prefer that one. But let's get started in the meantime. We've got some people. If you're on Facebook or Zoom, feel free to send me your questions. I actually do have a lot of people on these. Okay, good. All right. Okay, so let's get started with our business plan. As always, I want you guys to enjoy my first video of the PowerPoint. It's very exciting. Okay, let's get to it. Okay, so today we're going to say why we're setting goals. Why are they important? We're going to talk about SMART goals. Is anyone familiar with SMART goals? SMART goals? Yeah. I learned this first year in my business. So if you guys are brand new and have never heard of this, it might be new to you. It might be a reminder to others, but SMART goals. We're going to talk about 5 different goals that you guys can set. We went to Brian Buffini last week. I really enjoyed this one quick moment he gave to us in quietness to write down 5 goals. And we're going to do that as well. We're going to have a moment of silence and then we're going to do our 2-page business plan. So let's talk about time wasters. So I know, especially real estate agents, it's so funny when people tell me like their business has been slow and I'll say, well, what have you been doing? And I'll be like, what did your day look like yesterday? And then they start to say, oh, well, I ran some errands. I went grocery shopping. I don't know. I went to like the store. I had to get some shoes. Oh, and then I watched some TV, scrolled through social media, like picked the kids up from school. I'm like, great. So like, where did you guys fit your business into that? And a lot of people are like shocked when they're like, you know what? I actually do not spend enough time in my business because I'm at home, I'm working, but I'm not really working. I'm out there. Like, how many of you guys are doing like errands during the day? It's okay if you are, but how many? And if you guys were at a 9-to-5 job, you probably wouldn't be doing errands, right? We'd be in the office or doing something. So that's how our successful or our top agents aren't doing errands during the day. They're in the office. They treat it as like a 9-to-5. They do their errands afterwards. Or if you start to get to a point where your business is getting really well, some people are now paying people to do errands. So paying for groceries to be delivered to us, paying for food delivery. Like there's a lot of different things people are now paying for to avoid wasting time on running errands. But I know a lot of agents do spend a lot of their time doing errands. So you really need to sit down and be honest with yourself of where you're spending your spare time and your money. And this is going to be a really good indicator of where your business is going to take you in 10 years. So if you found that you weren't working as much as you, maybe in your brain, you're working a lot and it's in your head all day that you're thinking about real estate. But when it came down to it, like how many people did you actually talk to today? How many people did you put into your contact list? What are you doing every day? You probably only are doing maybe a couple hours a day of work. So you have to be very honest with yourself when it comes to that. Actually, one thing, let's do this now. Who's got one of those things on their phone that lets you see how many hours you spend on it? Okay, let's everyone pop it up. Like let's have an honesty test today. Does Android have this too?
Yeah, you gotta know your battery.
Okay, so go to your screen.
Battery usage. Yeah.
So on average, I think I read a study. And most agents actually spent their time on social media, scrolling, and entertainment.
Yeah.
Go to your homepage. Some people turn it off because they don't want to face the reality of it. So how many people spent like more than 2 hours on their phone? Anyone more than like 5 hours? Mine's ridiculous. Like I will be very honest. Mine's like above 8 hours. On my phone, I do a lot of social media posting on it. So when I look at my hours, I'm like, oh yeah, like a lot of it's listening to podcasts in the car. A lot of it, you'll see me, I'm posting on social media probably all day. You guys see it. So if you're not posting and you're spending all this time on your social media, but you're just scrolling and no one's actually posting, maybe we should change it. I'm okay if you guys are spending more than an hour on social media, as long as I see your face and you're like on there to post stuff, where you're on there DMing people and you're doing stuff. Is anyone shocked by their numbers by any chance? Okay. Does anyone think they can improve on it and maybe if they're on their phone, do better things on their phone? Yeah. Okay. So like, let's think about those things too. How many people actually made phone calls? Is that even on there? Mine's probably like 0. How many people do phone calls on this thing? Yeah. Okay. What about prospect calling? Not calling your mom or anything like that. Who's prospecting on it? Okay. Perfect. Text messaging is also prospecting, I think. So if anyone's texting. Okay. So I want to make sure that you guys are really thinking about where you guys are spending your time. And now we're at a good time where we're almost near the end of the year. So we're at this point where you're like, oh my gosh, I didn't actually do as much as I thought I was going to do this year. And it's a good time to reflect on what you spent a lot of your time doing this year so that we can not do that next year or improve on it for next year. Perfect. So why set goals? So I think it gives us clarity on your end vision. If you don't have goals, you may be spending your life running around and not really achieving anything for yourself. So I'm a big goal setter. Like I'm always setting goals. I've got a note section. I'm consistently writing in it. I'm visualizing like where I want to see my life. And I don't know if a lot of people, I think I just assume everybody does this, but maybe not. But even just having a visual of it as well. Like I've had on my screensaver, my goals. I've had my house, my dream house has been on my phone. I've got a visual on my computer of it. It gives you clarity of where you guys visualize yourself going. And if you don't have a clear vision of it, it's gonna be very hard to know why you're working and why are you selling real estate, or why do you want to make money if you don't really know why. But eventually you're going to be in a place that you don't want to be. So if you're not setting goals, you're just going to end up in the same place you were last year. So another question to ask yourself is, what do you want to be known for? So do you want to be known? Not everyone wants to be a top producer, and that's okay. Like you're not saying you guys have to be 7-figure producers or anything like that, but what do you want to be known for? Like, do you want to be known for someone in the community that's helping people sell? Do you want to be the top producer? Do you want to be known for speaking on stages and doing motivational talks? Like, what do you guys want to be known for? And this is a big industry, so it's hard to stand out, but I think having a goal in mind is really going to give you that vision. Having goals is also going to drive you forward. So desire, that's what motivates you in life. But sometimes desire doesn't actually turn into action. So another thing is you might have this huge vision of yourself owning this beautiful big yacht, but like you didn't do anything to like push yourself towards actually buying that yacht. So just thinking about it doesn't always make it happen. You actually have to do something to make it happen. So doing those small action steps every day to make sure that's where you head. So having those goals is really going to keep you connected to your source of motivation. And I think there's 2 steps to this. So number 1 is creating it in your mind. What do you visualize as your goals? Where do you visualize yourself going? And then creating those action steps to get there. So no one's going to make those calls for you guys. No one's going to send that newsletter for you. No one's going to come to your house and be like, Steve, did you make those calls today? Like maybe we will, but no one's going to be doing this for you. And if you're not going to be doing the things that you know you're supposed to be doing, then the only person you can really blame is yourself. Claire talks about accountability partners all the time, and I see it time and time again. We'll start an accountability club, a couple people fall off the track, then another person falls off, then all of a sudden no one's holding anyone accountable. So at the end of the day, you have to it's all up to you. So having these accountability groups are great and all of that, but at the end of the day, it's up to you and your internal motivation. And if you don't have that motivation, this is hard to say, but this might not be the job for you. Like if you can't hold yourself accountable and you can't do those things, this is very much a career where you get what you put in. And you could go make money by working 9 to 5. Someone will pay you hourly rate, and you'll get paid whether you do a good job or not. You're getting paid for show up. In real estate, you don't get paid if you don't sell a house. So if you have no self-motivation to do it, then it's very hard to do very well in it. Having goals is going to give you that laser focus. So it's going to give you a focal point to place your attention on. It's going to help eliminate those time wasting things that we just talked about, which is time is our most valuable asset. And the more houses you sell, you'll start to realize how much value time has and like how much you'll actually pay to have time back. And I think that was one of the reasons why most of us got into this business, was for that flexibility of time, right? And you may not see that in the beginning of your career, especially if you guys are maybe in your first 5 years. Time is like not a thing really if you are out there. But once you get to a certain point in your career, I promise you, you will find time, because you're going to figure out how to leverage other people to help you out in your business, whether that's maybe you're not door knocking anymore. You're paying a company to mail your flyers because you're making enough money to be able to afford to do these things. Maybe you're not staging yourself anymore. This is one thing we're chime on some of our agents, but some people are staging their own properties, and sometimes that time is a lot. So by paying other people to stage a property for you, that's buying you time back. Hiring a photographer that you love and you don't have to show up to the house to watch them take photos of a house, right? So these are different things. You get to a point in your career where you start to have money to pay other people to do things, and then you buy yourself time eventually, but it's not going to come right away. And then you want to start eliminating things that are wasting your time. So just surfing the web or surfing social media and not actually doing something on social media. Having long conversations with people, especially in the office. Like if you guys are just having these long conversations and then you did nothing at the end of the day, and then you go home, you're like, wow, I actually did nothing today. Or people pleasing things. So spending money on things that you don't have, on things that you don't need to impress people that you don't care about. So these are other things to worry about. Having goals makes you accountable. So having these written goals is really going to keep you accountable, especially if you've got it either on your brain, in your phone, on a visual somewhere. It's going to keep you accountable. So if you have somewhere in there, like, I want to do X amount of transactions, or I want to make X amount of money. If you've got that visually there, it helps a lot. I know you're big into this stuff, right, Mo? And has it helped you quite a bit having it visually in front of you? Where do you have it on your, get a whiteboard? Yeah. So I believe, I don't know, this is like a really like spiritual thing. I know Claire hates that stuff, but I really do believe in like the power of visualization and like positive mindset, having it there and actually seeing it in your brain, believing it, that it is a very powerful tool. A lot of analytical brains don't see it as much, but a lot of maybe creative brains do. But I do strongly, strongly believe in that. I believe it because I've made it happen for myself. And I know other people can do it. I'm doing the same job everybody else has done, making money the same way you guys are doing. So I know that it's possible to get there. We talked about holding yourself accountable to yourself and not anybody else. So having these accountability groups, having a team, having like a mentor, these are all great things. But at the end of the day, you have to put in the work. So you either have to make yourself accountable or you're going to be made accountable by your circumstances. I just realized I didn't change the photo for any of these slides. It's the same guy. Okay. Having goals will also help you be the best that you can be. So it's going to help you achieve your highest potential. Without these goals, you're basically just going to default to safety and comfort. So it's easy to not pick up the phone. It's easy to be like, yeah, I know I have to call these 5 people every day, but like, I don't want to get rejected, or I don't want to go to knock on a door because they're going to be mad at me, or I don't want to post social media because people are going to think it's stupid. Like all these things are just in your brain. And so you end up just choosing to just not do it and be comfortable instead of like putting yourself out there with the risk that, yeah, maybe you get rejected or maybe you look stupid. I know I've got a lot of new agents here that are even too scared to get that first client because they're scared to like look stupid when they can't find a lockbox at a condo. Unfortunately, that's just the reality of it. And you're just dealing with regular people. Like these are just people that are just buying houses. They're not going to make fun of you because you couldn't find a lockbox. There's been times where you're driving around, they're following you and you made a wrong turn, but like, they're not going to like, it's not going to be held against you. You're going to make mistakes. You're going to laugh about it later, but you got to get out of that safety. You got to get out of the fact that you're not going to know everything going out there. You've got goals to make. So you just have to like do it and you'll figure it out as you go. We're gonna do that one. And having goals is just going to ensure that you live the best of life for 2 reasons. So one, you're going to get to do more with people that you want and enrich your experiences. So again, the whole goal, I believe, like how many of you guys got into this business for like flexibility and like freedom and money and all of that? Like how many of you guys? I see some heads nodding. Probably all of us for some reason. And you might be in a point in your career where you're like, wow, there's like literally no freedom at all. Like I'm not free. I'm not seeing people. I'm missing out on plans. And that's because you're just early in your career. You're at a point where you haven't hit that part. That there is a threshold. I promise you there will. If you keep working, there is a point where, like I said, you're going to hit this threshold where you're like, wow, like I actually have some money now and now I can pay people to do certain tasks that I was doing myself. pop buys. I keep saying, I always go back to pop buys. I got Mo here too. Mo and I got both burnt out by doing pop buys ourselves. And like, it drains you. But then you get to a point where you're like, okay, now next year, I'm not going to do that physically. I'm going to pay someone to do these things. And that's where the freedom's coming from. To be honest, it's paying for the freedom. Eventually you're going to get an admin assistant, or maybe you grow and you get a buyer's agent. You're no longer doing showings anymore and you're getting help on that end. And then you just become a listing agent and you're focused on listings. So you will get to that point, but you just have to put in the time. I think it's going to take about 25 probably deals a year. Once you hit that 25 deals a year, that's when you're going to start to see that. I think it's going to take a few years until you see that freedom, but that's around there. Erin, do you agree with that too? With like, once you hit a certain peak, you get some help. You just got your team.
And then you're just like, oh, and in all honesty, it's almost like you're training your clients, because I know between the hours of 3 and 5, I never made myself available.
Yes.
Like dinner and whatever. No
Yes.
one bring that time up.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Like you can kind of like manifest that.
Yeah. And I think like you get to this weird point when you're early in your career too, where you think you have to be available at all times and someone's gonna be mad at you. Like no one's gonna be mad at you guys if you're like, no, I'm actually not available on Saturday. Can we do Sunday? Like the amount of time I've wasted just by like not going away on long weekends and all that stuff. And those were just sacrifices you kind of have to make for a few years is, yeah, you're going to get away some social events, but you will get it back eventually.
You appreciate when you're busy, but also you have other clientele you need to service.
Yes, exactly. That was a big thing. If anyone's at that point now where they're busy and they think that their clients want them. I know I went to conferences being like, no, they need me. They hired me for me. And like, when you're like, no, so-and-so is going to take care of you. Like Mo is going to take care of you. They're not mad at you. I thought for sure they would hate it. Carly, you probably agree too. Once you get to this point, they're okay. They don't need you. They just want to go see the house. They just want someone to open the lockbox and let them in. They don't care if it's you, as long as it's someone taking them in. So that's when the time you get your time back when you start to get to that point. What's number 2? So time passes no matter what. So goals maximize our output and experiences here on earth. So no matter what, we all have the same amount of time. Time is going to keep passing. So if you don't have these goals, it doesn't really matter if you achieve it or not. The time's going to keep going. You're never going to get that back. So I'm sure we all made goals for 2022. And then you're like, oh crap, I didn't do anything that I thought I was going to do. Time just flew by. And now I'm here again doing business planning and ready for 2023. So hopefully now that the market has slowed down a little bit, we can all breathe and start doing those things. Sorry, there's some like desks being made in the background. Okay, so where would we be? How different would your life be if you guys set goals 5 years ago? Would it be a lot different? Maybe. Yeah. I know we've all made goals. And what do you wish you would have done 5 years ago? Maybe you got into this business 5 years ago and now you're like, man, if I had just done that database 5 years ago, like this business would be a lot more organized. Things would be a lot more changed. Or if I started doing those videos on Instagram 5 years ago, where would I be today? If I started doing those, I don't know, speaking events 5 years ago, where would I be today? If I started door knocking 5 years ago, where would it be today? So it's not going to happen unless we do it. And then in 5 years from now, you're gonna be like, oh my God, remember, like I go back to my 5 years so much. Like I talked about last week, bank days. I used to do bank days every Friday and I hated it. And door knocking, I've done it all. Done the door knocking. I've done cold call workshops with Ginny and like, we've done it all. And then now I laugh at these like things that we used to do, but I'm glad that I did them because now I can be like, okay, I figured out what I like, what I don't like. But then there's people that are like, oh, you know what? I wish I did do it and like stuck to it, or I wish I just tried it. Okay, so the last few weeks, a lot of you guys have been here. I don't know, some of you guys have probably been watching online, but the last few weeks we've done quite a bit. So we talked about setting up systems for your business. What were your values at the beginning of the year? Building your goals around these. And did you get your database organized? So we talked a lot about your database. And And I hope that we all did get it organized and then doing those things that will push the needle forward. We talked about holding an open house. Did anyone book an open house this weekend? We've talked about door knocking. We've talked about cold calling. We've talked about farming. Have we put those things into place now? Probably not, but that's what today is going to be about. It's going to be taking all the stuff that I've talked with you guys over the last few weeks, few months, and putting those into action now. So let's change your life. Okay, so today we're gonna pick some pillars. And if you've been to any coaching sessions, you will hear them time and time again. You need to pick at least 3 sources of business. If you're an experienced agent, the best way to figure out what these 3 sources are is to call Heather or Paige, get a list of all of your transactions that you guys have done, and right beside every single deal, where did those transactions come from? Calculate the percentage of where they came from. And that's where you take your top 3 and focus your business on that. So if you guys have been in this for a few years now, have done a few deals, that's exactly where I would start to pick these 3 pillars, is to find out where you actually did get your business. Some people will say, oh, I got like 80% of my business from social media. And then when they cut down the numbers, they're like, oh, actually only like 4% came from that. So it's reality check and it's facts. You can't make that up. It is what it is. So if you're experienced, is Heather here today? Okay. I don't want to bug her too much, but
I can help.
Carly can help as well. But if you're experienced, I want you guys to get your list of deals and figure out what your 3 pillars are. If you're new or you haven't had a ton of deals, database is going to be number 1 for every single person in this room. I already know if you guys go print up your deals, probably more than 80% of them came from people that you already knew, past clients, or referrals. So that's everyone has pillar 1 is database. And then we're going to come up with a plan on this booklet for how to stay in touch with them. And then I want you to pick a passive marketing, whether it be social media, whether it's farming an area, doing advertising of any sort, flyers, podcasting, videos, whatever it is. I want 1 passive and then an active. So whether that be open houses, door knocking, calling, bank day, something that you guys are directly reaching out to people. It could be DMing on social media, text messaging, email, newsletter campaigns could also be one of your marketing efforts. So pick just 3. That's all you have to focus on. Does anyone have questions on those 3? No? Perfect. And then we're going to create some SMART goals. So there is a strategy, I guess, to this. S stands for specific. So what do I want to accomplish? Why do I want to accomplish this? And what are the requirements? It has to be measurable. So how will I measure your progress? Are you guys tracking them? How are you going to know if this goal is accomplished? Is it how much money I made this year? Is it number of transactions I did this year? It doesn't have to just be business either. We're going to do another thing as well. Is it achievable? So how can this goal be accomplished? And what are the logical steps to take? Is it relevant? Is this goal worthwhile? Do you even want to do this? Like, you don't have to set a goal if you really don't want to. These are totally up to you. So is it worthwhile? Is it the right time? Do I have the necessary resources to accomplish my goal? And is this goal in line with my long-term objectives? And then time. So how long is it going to take to accomplish this? When is the completion of this goal due? And when am I going to work on this goal? So you're going to have 2 options today. So this is going to be, I think, the last slide. So my people online, you probably don't have to stick around too much, but let me see if you guys got that email first. It got there. Perfect. So if you guys are on Facebook or Zoom and you're not physically in here in person with us, you just got an email from, it'll say like announcement, open 2023 business planning templates. And I have 3 different templates for you guys to choose from. So in the room today, we're going to do our 10-10-5, which we're going to create 10-day goals, 10-month goals, and 5-year goals. And then I'm going to get you guys to fill out this. So everyone at home can do this as well. And then I have an intermediate business planning, which is what we're doing in this room today for all my virtual people. but this is for the creative brain, which is the business planning booklet. And then I have a more advanced one. So if you find that this is too fluffy for you and you want something more number-based, more analytical brain people, you'll click on the advanced one. And that one's more like how many appointments, it's more number-based. So decide on what your brain is and then pick which business plan you want to do. But that's what you guys will work on today. My gosh. Okay, so that's the final thing for you guys. So I'm probably gonna log off.
We did have a question.
Oh, you did?
What's the difference between farming and door knocking?
So farming is like a method. Door knocking is part of it.
Like the overall strategy.
Yeah, Ginny wants to come explain. Wow. Get in here. Wow. Get in here. This is really nice. I'm gonna turn off my video background. You're like a floating head. Okay, Ginny's gonna explain the difference between farming and door knocking.
So farming, you pick an area that you want to work in, like a neighborhood, maybe 500 houses maximum that you can manage. And you want to get to know them one by like on a face-to-face basis eventually, right? So you pick the number of houses you want to target, you do same flyer. I wouldn't recommend changing the design up because it's the same design over and over. For the first 6 months, you deliver that flyer to that same number of houses bi-weekly. So first 15th of the month. And the first time you're in the area, knock on everybody's door, introduce yourself and hand deliver the flyer. The ones that were not home, note those houses down. The second time you're in the area, knock on the ones that you didn't meet, but leave the everyone others just as a flyer delivery, right? Goal is to meet everybody in the neighborhood. And then eventually you're just doing flyer delivery for 6 months. And then you can move it from bi-weekly to monthly and keep that going. Door knocking is pick a just sold area or just listed area and door knock that area. That's it. Makes sense?
Good job, Ginny.
Yay! I was now breathing.
I love it. Awesome. So I'm going to pop up. Miles says thank you. So I'm going to pop up just for our people. So what I want you guys in the room today, we did this last week at Buffini. I really liked it. So we're going to take maybe 5-10 minutes. And I want you guys to write down, I don't have it on this page, but maybe on if you guys turn to the back of the notes, I want you guys to write down spiritual. And I guess if you're at home right now, you can write this down too. Spiritual, family, business, financial, and personal. And you're going to write down your 10-day goals. So what do you want to accomplish in the next 10 days, which could literally be finish my business plan. So you'll have 10 days, and then you're going to do the same thing for spiritual, family, business, financial, and personal, and give yourself a 10-month goal. So what you want to accomplish in 10 months. And then you're going to do the same thing and give yourself a 5-year goal. You looking for this? Perfect. So everyone at home can write these down too. Perfect. And so I'll give you guys some time to do that. Let's put a timer. Is there a timer on this? No. So I'll give you guys till, should I keep everyone online or?
Yeah,
Okay. Perfect. I'll stay online for you guys that want to stay online. So you're going to do 10-day, 10-month, and 5-month goals. So I'm going to give you guys some silence, and you guys are going to just like quietly sit down and write down what your goals are for each of these categories. You can even put in your phone too if you guys prefer phone goals.
Perfect, fine. Yeah.
How's everybody doing on it? Good. For those of you that are at home, everyone's in silent here.
I want to know if people at home are really doing this.
There's still a lot of people online, so that's good.
I have to go get a snack.
Oh.
Everyone has to stand up and read their goals.
I'm dungeon.
I won't embarrass anyone unless you guys want to share your goals with us.
Accountable partners, match yourselves up.
What I would do with these goals afterwards, guys, I would put them on your phone or put this on a somewhere where you can see it. Yeah. Yeah, and read it, send it to your spouse.
Frame it and hanging.
Yeah.
Sign up. Everybody watch their goal. That's status goal.
Yeah. I texted mine to my husband right after. I was like, here's my goals. So we'll give everyone a couple more minutes and then I'm going to introduce you guys to your business plan. For our virtual people, if you guys want to come in to share your goals as well, we're happy to do that as well. Next time we're gonna do some yoga. Nelson's gonna lead it. We're gonna do like a manifesting, like lie on the ground thing, and you're gonna lead the manifesting. We'll bring in some sage. Jenny will do the sage.
That's smart, just slow, just bring your mask
You could do it in front of my house, the Pickering area.
right down here.
Perfect. How are we doing? Are you guys good? Probably still going. Everyone's focused. I'll give it a couple more minutes. There's 10 days, 10 months, and 5 years. Yeah, I just wanted to do some goal setting, and then we're going to do a plan. Because I liked doing this exercise last week. It was really nice. Kind of clears your brain a little bit. It always feels so calming to get it out of your brain. So what you guys can do next week is make sure you do your 10-day goal is met. Check in with this again in what's in 10 months. So next September, I would go back to these goals again, see if you're there. And then in 5 years, if you've got this, check in it again. So I'd always just be like updating this every day as you think of things. Okay, let's get to the business plan. So this was kind of like the fun, visual, simple plan. So if you guys have your booklets there and anyone online, this one's going to take a little bit longer. So I did email this to you guys. Carly actually found this one on, was it Etsy? So Carly found this on Etsy. It's actually like a 50-page book that I picked my favorite 14 pages out for you guys. Not everyone's going to like all the different pages. There's some things that not everyone's into, and then I'll show you guys the advanced one as well and see if that was better. So we just did some goal setting, which is good. So you've got your goals in mind. So like I talked about, there's 2 parts to the goal setting. One is setting the goal. Number 2 is actually coming up with a plan to achieve that goal. So what are you going to do to actually, maybe your goal is to do 5. Who is that? Who is that? Is it Claire? Are you kidding me? Sorry. Claire is back, guys. Oh my God. Sorry. Yeah. Okay, so now we've got your plan. So you guys just kind of did like a little visual, and I would encourage you guys to go home tonight if you didn't finish it and talk, or even I'm going to give you guys some time here as well. So now I want to talk more about the business side, because I'm a business person here. So it's nice to talk about spiritual and all that stuff too, but we want to talk about your business now as well. So again, not everything's going to be something you guys want to fill out, but I like some of these things. So I want you guys to write down like what your website is. If you haven't updated your website, maybe you want to have a launch date for it. So maybe you want to go check on whatever site you've got. Put your email. Some of these things are just very basic. Maybe you want to put your passwords in here if you ever do go back to this book. You can put your social media handles in here. What I really wanted to focus on though was your mission statement. So as a business owner, one of the first things that a lot of businesses will do, like Lululemon, Nike, all these businesses have a mission statement. So I want you guys to come up with like a personal mission statement. What is your mission in this business? And what do you guys see for yourself for how you guys do it? We're all very different, right? So come up with a mission statement. Talk about, like, really dive deep into your business. And I want you to go into like more of a personal analysis and say, what are your strengths? It's like, what are you good at? What are your strengths in this business? What do you think your weaknesses are? What opportunities do you guys see for yourself in 2023? Like one of them, for example, could be a lot of agents may not survive this business next year. So that might be an opportunity for you, right? So talk about some different opportunities that you guys see, and then different threats in the business as well. Write down maybe 3 or 4 of your values and where your vision is. And we're going to do all this stuff today. One of the things I really enjoyed was your target customer. So manifest who you want to work with. And obviously we want to work with anybody that wants to work with us. But if you've been in this business, and I know we talked about it last week, having that one client that like calls you and like you just don't want to pick it up. And like there's some clients out there that really do give you anxiety every time you see their name pop up. You don't enjoy working with them. And then there's specific clients that you do like to work with. So maybe here you're kind of like writing out, what is your ideal customer and how do you get in front of them? It could be like single moms, it could be investors, it could be families, seniors, like these. Think of who you've worked with in the past and who you really enjoyed, and just like come up with some sort of target customer and niche down who you want to work with. This may actually help you predict where you start to focus your attention on. Come up with some goals and values and challenges of this certain niche. What are your interests? What do you like to do? What do they like to do? And again, who's your ideal client? Who do you want to help and why are they ideal to you? And what can you uniquely offer to this client? Then we want to go into your long-term business goals. So we just did your 10-day, 10-month, 5 years. So maybe we want to break it down again. Put in one of your 1-year goals for 2023, 3 years. And these are all business goals. So we did a bit mix of everything. And then come up with some action steps of how you're going to get there. And then take those goals again. So I think this is pretty much like the same thing, but maybe for 2023, put like 4 of your major goals, why it's important, what your desired outcome is, and what different steps you're going to do to get there. Then this one I actually want, we've got an annual planner here. This one, I want you guys to more focus on that 86% of your business. So your database, what do you want to do every single month to be in front of your database, and come up with about 33 to 38 touches that you guys can do with these people. So January, maybe sending out that calendar or something in the new year. Maybe you're rewarding your A+ clients 4 times a year. Oh gosh. February's Valentine's Day. Are you guys going to do anything for Valentine's Day? March is St. Patrick's Day. So think of the holidays as well for each month and come up with a set goal of what you guys want the year to look like to be in touch with your past clients. Monthly newsletter will be one of them, greetings card. I would have at least one thing a month. Once a quarter, I would do something a little bit more unique, like the pop buys, or have some sort of gift. Every quarter, I would have something. Annually, maybe you've got client events that you guys want to plan. So put it in your calendar of when you guys want to do these things so that you guys know in 2023, you already have a plan. And then you're going to open this plan and be like, okay, I said in January, I'm going to do this. So we want to go through those. Daily planner, I wanted to, this obviously you may not use on this side, but maybe come up with an ideal schedule, how you guys want, like what your ideal schedule would look like if you guys were. I know in real estate, there's no real set daily schedule, but it is nice to have some sort of idea of what you want your days to look like. For all my social media people, come up maybe with like a, I would even start it this month, November plan or December plan. Come up with a plan of what you guys want to post every single day and put it in a calendar for yourself, whether it's a video, whether it's a featured listing of the week. Maybe you're going to get into tips for sellers, whatever it is. Try to come up with a monthly plan for that. I'm sure your brains, does anyone have like on a note section for social media or different marketing ideas on there? Nobody? Oh, I guess that's just my brain. Where do you guys put your ideas? You write it down? Okay. Do you guys, when you guys get an idea in your brain, do you guys just like hope that it comes back, or do you guys write it down somewhere? Like, where do you guys put it? Where is it stored? I'm concerned now. No, really though. Where do you guys put your ideas? Write it? Okay. Okay. As long as everyone has that. If you don't, I would put that on your 2023 plan where do you put your brain dump? Because there's so many ideas I know that flow in these creative brains, especially real estate agents. We're very creative. We go to these conferences, we pick up a few tips, and then we walk home and then we never look at that booklet we just filled out ever again. So I want you guys like to think of all these, anytime you guys get an idea, whether it's for social media, whether you're like, oh, this would be a fun client like event, put it somewhere on your plan and make sure you do it, because otherwise it's just going to be this random thought. Sometimes it becomes so overwhelming that you end up just not doing anything. So make sure you've got it down somewhere. And especially like for social media, what we'll do, I'll get an idea and I'm not ready to post it yet, but I'll put it on here. And then when there's a day that goes by, I'm like, hey, what can I post today? I'll go to my ideas list and post it. So it doesn't have to be social media, but it could be for any marketing ideas as well. Maybe you wanted to do flyers, open houses, stuff like that. So you could just scratch off social media and put like marketing plan if you want, but I would have a monthly plan every month. You could also break it down into a weekly planner. So again, my social media people, I wanted to kind of break it down a little bit for Instagram, Facebook, Pinterest, TikTok, YouTube, Twitter, whatever platforms you're using. You could be like Tips Tuesday, Wisdom Wednesday, Firm Up Friday, like different, like every day could have a theme, right? So if you start to organize your thoughts that way as well, maybe it'll get you to do some marketing as well. So come up with something maybe for a weekly plan and see if you can stick to it for like a month. I bet you'd be surprised what you guys can get out of these platforms as well. Again, social media is not on everyone's plan, but just in case you've had it in your brain to start social media, I wanted to get you guys going with something. For all my social media people as well that want to track performance. So I've got some more analytical people that want to watch how many followers they're growing, how many posts they're doing, then you may want to track it on this. I track a lot. Yeah. Us in front of a camera. Yeah. Anything that has all three of us works. Anything that actually I'm finding good house tours with a good song, those are working really well. So that's, I think I put it out there like for new agents, if you guys don't have listings, take a look at those new listings that get popped up from the office every day. If there's one in your area or one that you think looks cool, book a showing at it and go do a cool little video, put it on your social media, put some music on it. I'm sure all the agents, especially in this market, would be more than happy to have as many agents share that listing as they can. Plus it gets you guys out to go see some houses. So that stuff's working. I think the best stuff for most agents is to educate. So if you guys can get in front of a camera and give some tips for home buyers, do market updates, anything to show your clients or your audience that you know what you're talking about, I think it's good to educate. But video is the biggest thing. Reels. And I know no one wants to get on there, but
the
yeah.
video reels, the shorter the better right now. So
Yeah.
right now it's favoriting 5-second reels. So like it could be really quick and nothing. And Instagram loves really short reels right now.
Carly just posted like the worst reel the other day.
The worst
It had like 40,000 views on it. And we're like, what?
It was, I was making fun of it and it went viral because it was only 4 seconds. It was really quick.
Yeah. So like you like never know. It's that time.
Before and after of our wedding. It was poor quality. It wasn't even filmed from the same angle.
Yeah. If social media is part of your strategy, then I would track it. Oh yeah, if you have a business account or a creator, you should be able to track your followers and stuff. Yeah, you'll get insights. Yeah. And then when you get a good post, then try to repeat that post in different ways. So if you're getting really good house tour like views, I would book more house tours. If you're getting lots on your education videos, I'd do more education videos. But you kind of have to play around with it to figure out what sticks and then repeat it. Here's a content thing as well, but again, it doesn't necessarily have to be social media. I would make these like marketing ideas that you guys have. So what type of topic can you do? What idea? If you want to make it social media, you can. Hashtags, all of that. And then type of different marketing. So flyers could be part of this plan. I know Florence and I were talking about farming the other day. Your postcards could be part of your marketing plan. What are other ideas for marketing? Tell me some old school stuff. That one's on the calendar, but yeah, content ideas could be like, what Popeyes do you guys want to do this year? stuff like that. Newsletters, mail outs, thank you cards. Some good stuff. One girl last week when we were at Buffini, she said it so well. She's from Scarborough, and she's doing the pop buys. And for those of you that don't know what pop buys are, it's like a gift that you give to people. And she went to a conference and she got inspired. So she went home, she bought 40 boxes of cupcakes and she delivered. And the husband was like, well, what are you doing with all these cupcakes? She's like, I don't know. I went to a conference and he said, there's $25,000 in one of these boxes. She's like, I don't know which box it is, but like, I'm going to find out. And like, I thought that was the perfect way to say it. She's like, I don't know which box, but I'm going to hand out 40 boxes of cupcakes to all my past clients, friends, family, and like one of them has got to have a referral in there or something. So when you think of it that way, like if you're handing out pumpkins, if you're handing out wrapping paper, whatever it is, just think that there's like $15,000 in one of these gifts somewhere. So that might be part of one of your, like Christmas is coming up, right guys? So this is a prime time to not only get contact information from people because you might be sending a Christmas card. It's a good opportunity to get, I don't know, what do people hand out at Christmas? Wine, not everyone. I think, yeah, hot chocolate, treats, like plants. Costco's got gift baskets. So this is a really good time to have a lineup of gifts and just know that $25,000 might be in one of those. Gingerbread houses. Good ideas.
Just get a Tim card.
Tim Hortons cards, swag, if you guys are doing like toques, Amazon. So even though it's going to cost you guys some money, just know that there's probably a client in one of those. So that's why we're going to start doing these. So start to track that. And then throughout the year, if you want to put this on an Excel sheet, whichever it is, have an income tracker, write down the date. I would write the description, maybe like what that address is, the deal, where you got that transaction and how much you got paid. And then you can start to really track what sources you're getting your business from. And you're like, okay, this year I did 80% from database. I did X amount from open houses. So maybe this year I'll do more open houses. So it's a good way. And like I said, if you're experienced, hopefully you can go get a printout of your list of transactions. And then expenses. So write down like how much staging cost, how much flyers cost. I would even say if you got a lead from it, hot buys, all that stuff. Put it where you're doing your expenses. And then I just have your notes. So that's that business plan. We're going to work on that today. What time's it? 12:30. I would give yourselves until like 1 o'clock to maybe work on that. Take it home, go over it with us. I think we're done Wednesday sessions. We're not sure yet. Okay. We'll talk about it later. Well, I'll be here every Wednesday. So if people want to still come in, they want to go over their business plans, maybe more one-on-one, maybe small groups, I'll still be here every Wednesday for us to go over the plans, at least until January, and then we'll see what happens from there. For my analytical, do I have any analytical brains before I go into this one? Who in here is my analytical? Like how analytical? Like this type of analytical? Like ratios? Like how many listings, how many buyers analytical? Okay. So in your email, you received this one. You can actually fill it out on this. So for all my very analytical brains, if that one was too fluffy, like I don't have any, that one was more for my social media, creative, artsy people. If you're more robotic and analytical engineer brained, you will like this one better. So open up your email and pop up this. If you're in the room, I can print it for you. But I think it does calculations, but it's the same thing, just in different sources. So it's going to talk about different sources of leads, what your marketing plan is, what your networking plan is, the follow-up plan, the nurturing plan. This one's a very more in depth, but it is very solid as well. We just did this stuff like your circle of life plan. We just did 5 of them though. Yes. So active and passive. So we want to have database, an active source, and a passive source. So all my analytical brains can pop up this one then. Won't go too much into that one, but this is Tom Ferry's. Does anyone have questions? I still have a lot of people on online. This is great. For our virtual people, can we submit our plan to you? Yes. If you guys are online and you want us to review your plans with you, I'll do that as well. No problem. And if you want to hop on like a phone call or something too, we can do that. Okay, I'm going to end it here. If you're at home, I would sit on this for like the next 20 minutes at least. Give yourself till 1 o'clock. We're going to do it physically here with everyone that's here. We're going to spend till 1 and fill out the booklets as much as you can. And then again, if you want to go over it afterwards, we can do that as well. Any questions from our virtual people? Oh yeah, some people are sharing, they share, or they put their notes down in their agenda or their phone and on their notes. Perfect. Okay, so we will catch up with you guys maybe next week. Keep an eye out for an email to find out what we're going to be talking about. Claire's going to let me know. Okay, we'll see you virtual world later.